Hey everybody, I'm going to share a story with you here, and I know a lot of people here are not going to have interest in this story, but I guarantee if you stick with me, you are going to see how the sovereign citizen movement has been right all along, and I'm going to show you exactly how. But before I show you how in this story, I want to explain some legal technicalities to you here. When it comes to criminal charges and even federal lawsuits or tort actions, and tort action really is basically a state lawsuit, and I'm not going to get into the technical details of torts and legal or federal lawsuits, but I'm just going to stick with this. If criminal charges are brought against you by the district attorney, and you are found not guilty in court, you don't really have legal standing to sue the district attorney because he brought the charges against you in good faith. And so that basically leaves you no legal recourse to recoup your legal fees from the district attorney or the judge or the state, for that matter, to get your legal fees that you paid back. So now, here's the thing. With a federal lawsuit, if you bring a suit in good faith, you believe that you were done wrong, and the judge dismisses your lawsuit saying that, well, you didn't file it in a timely manner, it's beyond the 4 years or whatever, there's statute of limitations and whatever the process is, whatever the reasoning, if you brought it in good faith, and you lose for whatever reason, you didn't provide enough evidence to back up your claims in a federal lawsuit, it's dismissed, or it is found not to that it cannot proceed. So now let us get into this story here, and you are going to find that the sovereign citizen movement was right all along. First of all, this story is centered around a whistleblower who back in 2000, he had a daughter that was born in 1998 with a severe health problem, some kind of genetic disease or something. I could be wrong about the disease. And she had a lot of health problems, and it was affecting his job. Well, they were trying to force him to quit because it was affecting his job, and he sued in 2001. And he won his lawsuit under the Americans with Disability Act. And so he was successful in that lawsuit. Now, in 2008, because he still held a job with the State Department as a diplomatic security, whatever, but he held a desk job. Well, in 2008, some old hatred or something resurfaced, and they tried to force him out again. So he resued. Okay, so as you can see here, he first filed suit in 2001. He was successful. Everything seemed fine with his desk job, but in 2008, everything resurfaced. He files lawsuit again. He filed a civil discrimination suit, and this is what happens. Now let me explain to you how this works. The judge can rule if your lawsuit is it's got to be completely frivolous, and you are declared a vexatious litigant, for the judge to rule that you are responsible for the person you bring the suit against, their legal fees. If he does not declare that and dismisses your lawsuit with prejudice, and what does that mean? With prejudice means that you cannot relitigate, even in appeal. Well, you technically you can under appeal. You have to appeal the with prejudice ruling first. Okay? If that has not been done, if the lawsuit is not with prejudice, meaning that you can appeal the judge's ruling that the lawsuit cannot proceed, it's dismissed, that you don't provide enough evidence or whatever, you are not legally bound to pay for the person that you brought the lawsuit against for their legal fees. Do you guys understand that? So guess what? The lawsuit has not been declared a vexatious, or this guy right here has not been declared a vexatious litigant. The lawsuit has not been declared frivolous. He is appealing the ruling of the judge of the lawsuit dismissal. Okay? That's in this story. Okay? So guess what the State Department does? And this is just going to tickle the sovereign citizen movement pink right here. But a few years ago later, in 2008, Higbee filed a grievance against his new supervisors, saying that harassment at work had been reignited by old enemies and new ones. The situation led Higbee to file a discrimination lawsuit in 2011 against the State Department, then under the leadership of Hillary Clinton. Higbee is appealing his case to the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans. So obviously, the case has been dismissed in the district court. Okay, this is how federal courts work. You have a district court, which is the first one you bring your case to. Whatever the ruling is, if you are successful in bringing your case, your opponent or the person you brought the case against has a right to appeal it in appeals court, which is called the U.S. Circuit Court. Now, obviously, Higbee was not successful because he is the one appealing the case to the 5th Circuit Court. But he's appealing the ruling and not a with prejudice ruling. Okay? But what does the U.S. State Department do to Higbee for him bringing the lawsuit? They're using sovereign citizen tactics. Here it is. Over the past month, the State Department, now led by Secretary John Kerry, has had a $13,000 lien placed on Higbee's home to collect legal fees the government says it is incurred on the case currently under appeal. Do you notice that the Secretary John Kerry is not suing Higbee for legal fees? They are using a sovereign citizen tactic, which they claim, which the federal government and the state governments are declaring the sovereign citizen movement's tactics paper terrorism. Are you guys following me here? Let me show you. Sovereign citizens with penchant for filing liens. Let me show you what they're declaring the sovereign citizen movement here. The FBI has now gotten involved in the false lien filing business and considers the massive filings as a type of paper terrorism. This is one of the few times lately that I agree with the FBI. I find it hard to imagine receiving a title commitment for a sale of my home and reading that someone has filed millions of dollars of liens against the property. Hello? Secretary John Kerry is not suing Higbee for legal fees because he can't. Because the judge didn't rule him a vexatious litigant or that the lawsuit was frivolous. They are putting a lien against his home because that's the only way that they can get away with recouping money from this guy. Do you guys understand where I'm going with all of this? They are using the same thing that they're calling paper terrorism that the sovereign citizen movement is using, and they're doing the very same thing. Now, does something seem wrong here to you guys? But it goes much deeper. It goes much deeper here. Not only did the Secretary John Kerry in the U.S. State Department file a lien against Higbee's home to collect legal fees, but the department also placed a lien on the Florida home of Higbee's father. How do you get away with claiming that the sovereign citizen movement are completely jackasses and are using frivolous liens, and you're doing the very same thing that you claim it's illegal for them to do and calling it paper terrorism? That's where I'm going with all this, and I hope that you guys have stayed with me throughout the whole video because you're seeing it for yourself right here, right now, that they're using sovereign citizen tactics that they claim are illegal, and they're using it against this guy Higby right here and getting away with it. Okay? So I hope you guys see all that. Sorry the video has taken so long, but I know I had to explain to you it just this way for you guys to understand where this was going to go. And I know that the sovereign citizen movement is going to be tickled pink over this finding, because they've been right all along. Thanks everybody for watching, and I am going to leave a link for the various stories right here for my new website, and the website is under construction. I'm getting stories to put up there, and hope that once I get this up and running, you guys will visit it, because I will be putting up their stories that sometimes you don't find if these stories are not in your subscriptions. Okay? All right, everybody, thanks.